Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? It's been a minute since we've done a live stream here. So let me get situated here. And we are live, right?
I believe so. It says we are. Hello, everyone.
Okay. What's happening here? Okay. It says we got 12. You guys can hear us, right? All right. All right. We're live. For some reason, it wasn't popping up on my phone, and it normally does. So, anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Today, I was actually going to come on and we were going to talk about attachments and kind of review the evidence we've had thus far. But guys, I got to tell you, some stuff has happened. Some evidence has finally come in. Like, as you guys know, we're waiting on stuff about the cemetery, about the unknown section of the cemetery, right? So we have reached out again to the Claremont County Historical Society. But so I'm going to just tell you what I've been doing, and then we're going to do a quick recap, and there's a reason for that. So we also reached out to the local police department because, as you guys know, one of the things that we investigated was over across the street at the mall parking lot where the movie theater used to be. We've talked about this a lot, about the young man the unfortunate situation where he took his own life and crashed his car into the building. So we were waiting on information from both avenues to show up. We finally got the one of the two. Okay. So this all starts back the first investigation that we did, because you guys know we put up clipped videos, like anything I think that's really cool from like my ghost story, paranormal caught on camera, special things of like ghost adventures I think are really neat. I'll clip them and share them. But eventually it's going to be just our content. And so the first place we did was across the street at the mall because it's right here. It was an easy way for us to do a close to home investigation and something that kind of like that I know about, right? A case that I know about. So real quickly, let me just share with you. I'll go to the channel and I'm gonna share with you. It's a 49-second clip video, and it's my son and I, and this is how it starts off. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, now this really it's I have commercials on this one. Just bear with me, y'all. I apologize. Okay, let's share this. I'm gonna tie this in all together, y'all. Okay, you guys remember this video? Let's watch it.
We were just, but oh, there you are. You want to talk again? So we're sitting here at the Eastgate Mall that no longer is here, but a young man who's anxious to talk to us.
So he just lit it
you
up.
know, he ran his car into the side of the building here and didn't make it. So we've been talking, and he's been communicating with us. So can you give us two, like, light it up for us? Come on, you can do it. You just gave us a show. Thank you. Can you light it up and keep it lit up? Just give us a strut. Come on, keep it lit for a minute. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for talking to us. So, are you the young man who did have the accident here?
Okay. I wanted y'all to see that for a reason, because since then, you guys have been watching our graveyard, our cemetery investigations, right? So if you've caught up with those, what if we, oh, here's code. Let me add code here. Oh, you got to go out and come back in, bro. It says device not connected. You're not getting a good connection here. All right, guys. So we've been watching the the cemetery investigations. I also did another short, and I'll play that one because I think everybody's caught up. But this is the one that kind of this is what I'm tying in, guys. I'm getting there slowly. I wish I could just. I'm gonna make a video. Okay, we're talking about Steve, guys. We're talking about Steve. Here is me directly talking to Steve.
You've been trying to get in touch with me. Say your name, please. Again, the phone's ringing again. Steve, you've been trying to get in touch with me. Say your name, please. Again, the phone's ringing again.
Okay, so he comes through every time I do any type of spirit box. Steve comes through. He's the first one and normally the last one to come through. Now, if you don't believe me, I have not even released this, and there's other ones that I have not released yet that Steve is on. But here, I'm going to show you. This is all the way up to 2 days ago. Okay, I'm just going to show a piece of this because I haven't released it yet. But just to show y'all.
Can you repeat your name, please? Jason? Hey, Jason. How you doing? Nice to meet you. My name's John.
Now, when you guys see this video, he whispers that. Steve, you can catch the whisper. I amplify these, and I listen to these with headphones, and I listen to them over and over and over again to make sure that I'm hearing what I'm hearing. But I dress them more. So what
Steve, if you come with me, if you follow me here, can you please just say your name for me?
There you go.
Is that Steve?
I'm not sure.
I'm not to review it. Steve, if that is...
Watch, he's going to confirm it, guys. Don't just think it happens once. He already whispered it before I even said, well, what's address Steve, okay? He already whispers it. I missed it, okay? So he keeps saying it. Now he said it 2 more times.
Steve, can you say your name one more time? Confirm that for me. Karen?
I never spoke.
Is that Steve?
I sounded like Steve.
Yep. Okay. Steve, thank you. Just in case they doubt me, that you're always with me, and I know that. And we're gonna get to the bottom of what you need. I'm gonna help you, man. He knows that. That's why he's with me.
And he knows that, guys. He knows that. And guess what happened today, guys? Okay. Well, before I get to that, real quick, one more thing. I know I keep leading up to it. So I had a psychic reading, guys. Not Christina. Christina is a very gifted, wonderful spiritualizer and psychic. Everybody, if you haven't, go buy her book, Intuitive You. The link is on the last live. But I had a reading from another woman who my brother visited. My brother that passed visited. She was discussing the cemetery situation. And one of the numbers that comes up over and over and over and over and over again is what guys? Besides number 8, number 20, right? Well, there's a reason for that. I'm talking about the significance of certain numbers, certain names. I thought that Steve came from the unknown section of the cemetery. Steve, I picked up from the mall, guys. Steve, I picked up from our very first investigation with my son. So I've been getting Steve. Hi, John. This is Steve. This is me, Steven, Steve, constantly, right? I'll show you. Well, so I got the police report. The cops actually pulled me over once in that parking lot. And one of the cops said, yes, I remember that. Wow, carry on. He let me go. He was totally intrigued when he saw that video with the K2. The kid's name is Steven. His name is Steven, y'all. That's his name. I had the psychic reading, and I'm saying, I think Steven is number 20. She says, no, I think Steven is from across the street. She's been adamant on that. And I thought, and here this whole time, now there's no doubt, guys, that I have no doubt that Steve is with me. No doubt. Like that's not up for debate here. He's with me. The question is, who is Steve? Who's his last name? And what can I do to help him? I know his last name, guys. I know his last name. I know, and it's a very, very sad story. And this ties into, hey, Mike, I'm glad you're up here because we've addressed this so many times. This kid was 16 years old, guys. 16 years old, a baby, almost going on his 17th birthday. He wrote a letter, a 2-page, lengthy, typed suicide note, a lengthy one. He addressed it to a girl, a classmate. He addressed it to the schoolmates, to his family. This kid was bullied.
And he knew he was friends with somebody that we won't say who or what, but there was a little bit of a connection too, right?
Yes. My brother, who he shares the same name with, in fact, my younger brother, his ex-girlfriend was very close with this kid. He didn't go to school he's several years younger than me. So if he was still here, he would be 7 or 8 years younger than me. Okay, so he still would be a young man. This kid was bullied, and he felt like he had no choice. And if you read this letter, I was waterworks, guys. Waterworks. My wife.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You read the letter?
Oh,
Yes.
It's in the police report, actually.
Hey, Tabby. Wow.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Me, bro.
Sorry,
Shit, I
guys.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
He's been so excited about the news today that eventually it'll be really cool when it all ties in without giving too much away. But yep, the letter was in the police report in the records that we got sent by email.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
man,
very
that's
hard
crazy.
to read. I couldn't stomach it.
Hey guys in the chat.
Yeah, guys, smash that like button if you stand against bullying. This kid wrote, he's a very well-spoken, very intelligent, very well-spoken young man. In fact, he probably writes better than I could write. He's very great grammar. He's an educated kid. He justifies it. He justifies it. And you know what? People, and I agree with him. I said this on the last live, sometimes when people are painted into that corner, they feel like they're boxed into that corner. They feel like that is the better option. But I mean, guys, everybody listening, we all know there's music, a music alone. Because of people getting the blues. I mean, that's what the blues is all about. Getting the blues.
Yeah, bro.
We have ups and downs. We have those peaks and valleys in life, and where we have those hard times. But to read this and to hear the desperation in this kid's letter. He writes this letter, he types it and prints it out. And then
at the bottom of the letter, as he's sitting in the parking lot, he handwrites how he's feeling at that time. And it ends by saying he's extremely nervous.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy. But to back it up just a little bit, I think once it all starts tying in together, John and my son went over there when he first started the channel because John remembered the accident. So they went over, got a bunch of evidence that night, and we've gone back several times and we didn't get anything else. So that's where the cemeteries came in. So we started doing the cemeteries. And then nonstop, since we've been doing it since the first day, every session we've done, every cemetery we've gone to, even in our home, his name has come up nonstop. Yes. And then John got the reading from a psychic that a friend put us in contact with a few nights ago. And she's the one who tied it to there, but that was not confirmed till today when we got it.
Not confirmed. No. In fact, I've been waiting for that confirmation. Hey, and I'm going to keep it real. I had my doubts because like I said, I kept thinking that number 20 was him. But it is, because it's his birthday. He's born on number 20. It is him. He is number 20. He's born on the 20th. So I wasn't picking up the number from the cemetery. I was picking up his birthday, guys. So
and wait, it's crazy. 20 years old and 20 years ago, bro.
No. He was born on the 20th, but it was about about 20 years ago. Yes, it was about.
Bro, that's too much. That's not a coincidence, bro. There's no way that all that. You know what? I'm going to tell you what, too, not to get into too much because we're not on that, but maybe because of everything that's going on here in this internet, the way you removed yourself, the way you're not responding to certain shit, maybe he feels like he sees comfortable because he knows what you're trying to do and try to go a different route. And what you've been through, maybe there's a connection. I don't know, man. You know.
Well,
it's going to pixelate. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to pull it up.
But what Code said ties into when John was reading the police report with his note in it. You said that he felt like very similar to that kid around like the same age.
Oh, wow.
Did you go to the same school, John? Was that mentioned? I couldn't read the whole note.
I did not go to the same school, but he talks about how he felt in school, how he felt as far as his academics, and struggling, and just physically, emotionally, mentally. And at that age, where I was academically and socially, it's so much that ties in. It's just we have a lot of things in common, and it's just heartbreaking, man, to see that this kid's writing. The last thing he said was just that he's sitting here and I'm very nervous. And you can tell the kid is like on stress level 10 because you can barely read the writing. You can tell he's shaking. Guys, I'm going to redact a lot of this stuff because I'm going to protect his identity, but I am going to prove that is his name. And this kid, he reached out to me for help, do you realize that building's been gone for 15 years plus? So this kid has been sitting there by where that happened for 20 plus years.
You're going to be able to help him though, man. That's good that you're able to,
I can,
to be that vessel, bro, to get that message across to whoever, we talked about it. I don't want to give everything away, but not only that, too, maybe it's a segue to once you do all this, maybe, I'm not saying, the stuff I do with the kids and coaching and all that, but maybe there's some other thing you could do, or maybe let some of the kids know, or I don't know however you would do it to let them see, because bullying is so bad, bro, in schools. Like kids I forget what the rate is, but like hurting themselves for just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't even know you, just because they were bullied and they feel like crap. And look at that poor kid, man. However old he was, like
16
like there's nobody to turn to. Like that's so sad, bro. It's really that's sad, man.
And he kind of said that in his note, and that was another way that I just really felt like it tied to our last live with Christina on. Number one, we were talking about suicide in that, in that one, but but the bullying is also what it really brought me back to, because originally we thought he did it over a breakup with a girlfriend, and she
Oh.
was in the letter, but she was not a girlfriend. She was
No.
just somebody who was a friend to him, who befriended him, and he thanked her for that in that letter, and like wished her well for her future. Hope you marry a great guy. Thanks for being my friend. You know, that kind of thing. So that was really heart-wrenching also, I felt like.
He felt unnoticed, guys. He felt unnoticed, unwanted, invalidated, and just ostracized from people. And guys, we know, everybody knows that's been through puberty, you know, that's the stage where you have hormone craziness, right? So depression, because of your hormones ramping up at that age, depression may seem worse. And let's just face it, guys. Teenagers don't look at things rationally when they get upset, and it's just, it hurts that he felt like he didn't have anybody. He addresses schoolmates, parents, and everything in this letter. But I didn't know how to help because I didn't know his name. You guys have seen it. I said, Steve, is your last name?
I thought it was Nicholson.
I thought it was Nicholas because of
Yeah.
Nicholas. A Nicholas came in right after Steve said his name. A Nicholas came in right on the heels. So it sounded like Steve Nicholas. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was saying his first and last name, but it wasn't. Could it have been another Steve, a Steve Nicholas? I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, like it's, you can kind of go back and recognize his voice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what you guys saw with the K2, and then I'm going to go through each one and clip the Steves, and I'm going to string them up, and then I'm going to end with, you know, actually, her name is Lynn, guys. My new friend. She's a psychic medium. She's amazing. She read our friend. She's a friend of our friend, Mike, and she is, the stories that I heard were amazing, and she was anything. She was just as equally amazing when she kind of tapped into, you know, and read me that night. And she didn't have to do that. She did it out of the kindness of her heart. And she's been very intrigued with the Steve thing, because now, guys, Christina also said, you got a new friend, by the way. I said, yeah. She's like, does he bother you? I said, no, he doesn't bother me. Not at all. Not at all does he bother me. Can I feel him? Guys, I don't even know how to explain this. As of like a month and a half ago, I'm like all the rest of yous. I watch the paranormal shows. I watch Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and I hear the EVPs. I hear the spirit box sessions, and like the one at the Galka family episode with Ghost Adventures, and they're talking to Melissa, Gary Galka's daughter, and she's coming through, and people are like, you know, they don't believe it, but I am here to tell you that this is not make believe. This is the real deal, guys. Like when we were in this other cemetery the other day, when I release it, y'all will see that they now know what I'm doing. The word spreads in the spirit world just like it does in the real world. I think Steve kind of helps like a liaison between me and the dead, kind of, because when I was at the other place, a lot of times what I have at the cemetery is people will talk over one another. You see, like you'll catch, I'll get EVPs and they'll be on top, not EVPs, but responses, and they'll be on top of one another, and I'll have to like try to like space the words out so you guys can still see them without overlapping them, because there's so many people coming through. This place, it was like he made them get in a single file line. That's how it was, because at the end, I'm like, if anybody else wants to come through, please do so now. Say your name now. And then it's like Stephen, Clarence, Jeff, Carla. And it's just like, bup, 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 bup. And it's like 9 names, 8 or 9 names. Boom, 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 boom.
That's crazy, bro. That's awesome.
Not random words, not gibberish. Name after name after name. And they even say the name of the town we're in right there. I said, what town are we in? It's the city of Milford. And the guy, somebody says Milford. So I'm literally, If you would have asked me 2 months ago, what do you think of the spirit box, J Mac? And I'd be like, yeah, I've heard some good things. My wife, Tab, you can attest to this. How many times have I bitched about radio coming through? I even went and bought this Faraday bag because in some places, well, I was using the AM side instead of or the FM side, but you know, I was complaining. Like I was less than pleased with the spirit box, wasn't I, Tab?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was, because I was playing it and I was not getting what I'm getting now, guys. I just wasn't. It seemed to me like it was a ripoff. Like it was just basically like the phone apps that people use for like spirit box stuff. They're fake, guys. They're fake. They're programs on the phone that people download that are written. They're written. These are apps written that have a word data bank that spits out random words and phrases. It's meant to be entertainment. It's not meant to be proof or like real evidence. So when I started with this thing, I wasn't getting anything. I was really highly pissed. I was pissed because I was. Buy the stuff, you want it to work, right? The whole reason for it being is to work, right? That's the reason I bought the damn thing.
You just have a bad trouble with electronics.
I got a question for you. So do you think, because I remember we've had this conversation, your transition to this channel, do you think maybe because maybe your stress levels were a little bit different because you weren't like, you know, you're really enamoring yourself in it now. You're really doing everything, the editing. And do you think maybe that they thought the same as you were doubting them? Maybe they were doubting you, like they didn't know if you were ready for it, and then they felt that. I don't know. I'm just asking, you know, because if it's 2 months, I don't know.
I feel like this is what I feel. I don't think I've even shared it with John yet, but I've been thinking about it all day ever since we got the police report. I feel like, especially after reading that young man's letter, that, you know, he felt so forgotten in life, if you really think about it. His letter says it. And then after 20 plus years, some random guy shows up over there with his son, who also has had some like issues. Like I feel like at that age, young men.
We both did. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, they were very similar. They show up over there and they talk to him when he's no longer even like physically here on this earth. So then all of a sudden he's just remembered out of the blue after feeling forgotten all that time, you know, like
2 decades.
So he passed because we really didn't start ever. We've never had the luck that we've had ghost hunting before the channel, when we just did it for a hobby. We've never had the kind of luck we've had since.
And where have we been? And where have we been, Tab? We've been, my wife and I have made it a point to like, we'll watch paranormal shows. We'll pick out an episode that we like, a nice location like the Thomas House. That was the Cloyd Hotel. The Whistler was the episode on Ghost Hunters. We picked out that location and we went there. And we became regulars there. We went to Myrtle Plantation. We've been to the Crescent.
We wanted to go to the 1860. We booked that trip. That was canceled.
And the 1790. Yeah, you always go to the 1800s. It's the seven. It's actually
the 1860s.
I know, but it's the 1790 Inn, and that's the doll room. Where that's in Savannah, I believe, downtown Savannah. We had those planned before the pandemic, and you know that kind of nixed that a little bit, but. We go and we went to the Blue Lady, the Story Inn, I think it is, where the Blue Lady, the ghost of the Blue Lady. We've been there, guys. Believe it or not, we've been to a lot of notoriously haunted locations, like the ones you see on shows. And these places. I don't get the feelings. I don't get the evidence. We haven't gotten the evidence. That's not true. When we were at Tom's house, we heard the whistle. We heard the disembodied whistle. We did hear that.
And you and Sierra spoke to the kid with the flashlight. We had good sessions there, but that was after several trips. We've been to the Thomas house a lot.
Yes. Yeah, 1 trip out of 5, we got evidence. 1 out of 5. That's to say the least, guys, that's discouraging. It's discouraging because but you know what? When you take the trips, when we were doing this, the point is to get away, make memories, spend time with one another, enjoy each other, and enjoy our scenery and exploring new places, new scenery, things like that. So that's what we kind of set the focus on. We were totally taken aback by the stuff we've been catching. You know, I let me send the link to Drazo. I told him I would send him the link, and I totally forgot. Sorry, brother. I've been so stoked about this evidence. So I gave it to my wife, and I said, here, I can't read it. Really, I could have blown it up. I didn't want to be the one to look. I didn't want to be the one. I wanted to.
I knew you were lying when you said that, because I was reading it and I thought, this is really clear. It was very easy to read. I was trying to figure that out.
I did. Between us, don't tell Tab. No, I had not gotten to the report part. They sent cover sheets, which is my name and the request, what I'm requesting. And there's a cover sheet that says that. And then there's another sheet that it tells you what they've sent you. So I have it all, guys. I have the officer's report. I have the kid's note. I have everything there is to have on that is relevant to what we need. I was not expected. So that's totally just, you know what? I wasn't surprised. I knew he's been with me. Like I even said in the video, I know you're with me, Steve. Like he comes through so much that it's almost like he thinks I don't feel that he's there or know that he's there. I do. In fact, he can hear me. I have no doubt he's right here, right now, listening to me. He is. When I do my my editing, I'm either sitting right here, I'm like this, and I'm editing. And I feel on the back of my neck, I can feel him watching over my shoulder. I can feel it. I can feel it when he's there. I can feel it when he's not there. When he first came to our house, when he first attached to me, we started having the first thing that happened was in our room we have knickknack shelves, and my wife has like fragrances and lotions and lip balms and all kinds of little things she has up there. We were hearing this. I was hearing something like this. It was loud enough to where if it was a vibration, I would have heard it and felt it. It was weird. It should not have been happening. We've been here, 6-7 years now? Never heard that sound before. So I woke her up. It was like, 2:33 a.m. Another coincidence, number 11 that Lynn kept bringing up, number 11. That also ties into something in the report too. So all of this stuff ties in. But anyways, the tapping noise. I get up, I wake her up. She's like, "What is that?" I get up, I go over to the shelf, and it stops. Doesn't happen again. Next night, we come back from an investigation, and I'm sitting up there editing, and all of a sudden, a freaking water bottle starts crinkling. All right, my phone's glitching. Okay, here we go. Now I can get in. The water bottle starts crinkling in our house, and it on the nightstand. But that's happened several times. The next morning, my wife is downstairs getting ready for work. I'm upstairs. She hears it again. Creeps her out. So we've heard it several times. A few other things have happened, but paranormal activity has spiked in our house since then. Doesn't seem scary, doesn't seem threatening, but definitely he's letting me know that he's with me. And you know what? Since I've spoken to him, I said, Steve, I know you're always with me. And I said, look, I know you're here, Steve. You know, please don't startle me. You know, like just know that, you know, like my wife doesn't want to be scared or startled. Totally respectful. You know,
Just wanted to address, I saw a comment in the chat that just asked if you were like more drained. Like now that the energy has been, you know, Steve's energy has been around. And I was gonna just comment on that myself, because I don't know, several times, and I don't know if you caught it on video or not, but when at least 3 of the times that we've left there, John has complaints of just being like more fatigued, more drained. So I would have to say yes to that for you, not really for me.
yes, because she hasn't, but I have given, I don't know if it's a wise thing to do, but you know me, you know, I want to get you all the evidence. I want to give you all a good show. So I said, you know, if you guys don't have the energy to come through, use my energy. You can tap from my energy. There's the one I didn't show. There's a day when I'm there and it's raining and I have a poncho on. I think there's a clip that I posted. That day, nobody was coming through. I called my wife. My wife spoke over the speakerphone, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. We were getting all kinds of stuff. But that day, walking out of the cemetery, I almost like had a hard time walking out of the cemetery. I was like extremely fatigued. I felt like I had like a sunstroke or like heat stroke when you're so unbelievably exhausted. That's what it felt like. And it was a noticeable difference. So yeah, they do drain your energy. Yes, they do. I haven't had that really happen to where it's like a noticeable difference until the cemetery we've been going to. Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up, bro? Hello, Mrs. Mac.
Hello, how are you?
You know, doing the daddy duties.
Fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
Coffee. Yes, I did. I did get. So we have a finished basement here that my son used to live in. He don't live in there anymore. So now we use it for storage. But I went down there. We dog sat about 3 weeks ago. Dog was down there for a week. I went down to make sure, because there's a sliding door and it's always locked, but we like to keep a stick in the door, in the jamb of it, so nobody can jimmy it and slide it open. So I'm going down there. Okay. And 2 nights before that, see, there's a sliding door on the first level and then on the bottom. On the first level, it goes out to the backyard and it's like on stilts. Even though it's the first floor, I'm sitting on a hill. As I was passing that door the night before on the way up to bed, I saw the darkest, blackest, tallest shadow figure I've ever seen. And he was standing on the outside of the door. I'm on the inside. He's on the outside. I see his legs, long black legs, standing on the outside. It startled the shit out of me. It did. It gave me a blast to the ticker. I'm lucky I had my blood pressure meds that day, because that may have been it for me. It really gave me a jolt that bad. So leading into your question. So the next day, I am downstairs in the basement. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. The sun had it's already set. It just gotten dark out. And I'm in the basement and I'm checking to put the stick in. Right as I'm there and I put the stick in and I turn around and I look across the basement, I'm thinking about what happened the night before when I passed by and saw that shadow figure. Right as I think about that, the lights go out in the basement. Boop, just cut off. They didn't turn off. The bulbs blew. Like that. Right when I thought about that, the lights blew. And I thought she was fucking with me. I was like, are you up? Did you do that? She's like, huh? And I yelled again. She didn't hear me. So then I came up the steps. I'm like, and I'm like, the light just blew. And I told her the story. So yes, more and more things have been happening, Coffee. It's but now, and another story. I've told this one. My mother-in-law messed with the TV. And the reading that I got from Lynn is that my mother-in-law guards this house. She's always here, and we do have her coming through on the spirit box in our living room. So she used to mess with the TV because I messed with her with the TV when she was living. So she did it to me what I did to her after she passed, just letting me know she was around. There's no doubt in my mind it was her. Now I know. Now I really know everything that I thought, that I really believed, is true, guys. I mean, it has to be. This stuff, it's just so mind-blowing that the dots that are connected here. I know this kid's last name.
But don't you feel like hypersensitive to it a little bit also? Like, I know what things for us that I would consider for sure real that have been validated for us, like in the last couple weeks between like meeting, Christina, and then I haven't really talked to Lynn as much as you have yet. But those types of things. But I also feel though now like I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, afraid of a noise being something that shouldn't have happened. Like every time we hear something in the kitchen, we like look at each other. And so I also feel like we're a little I don't know if that's hypersensitivity or if we're just more open now.
To be honest, I just think that we have hitchhikers. I mean, I think we have hitchhikers, and I think that Lynn told me that Steve has kind of made it his mission to kind of like protect me. Look
Well, I
out
know
for me.
someone in the chat asked if maybe we were going to like help Steve like cross over.
Yes, we are.
So that is in the plan. I didn't want to give like too much away because we do have like, a lot of plans coming up with that.
Shadow figures are terrifying. If you don't have okay, the thing is with shadow figures, a lot of people think of them as being demonic. I don't. I think of them as just, you're seeing a shadow from another dimension. You're seeing them come through from another realm. I don't think that they're demonic. Me personally, can they be? I don't know. They probably can be. I think most of the time what we're seeing are people, just people without bodies. It's the names that are coming through are just so many of them, and the longer we're here. Yeah, Drazo, what do you think, bro? Give me your take, brother.
Wow. It's a lot to take in. We talked about it earlier.
First one, by the way, he was the first one that I was
Yeah.
able to share this with. And he told me he had the chills. Drazo told me it gave him the chills.
He calls you right away, Drazo, every time too. He's like, I gotta call Drazo. That's what he says.
He likes the evidence. I love sharing it, guys. This is my passion.
He's very passionate about it, and he's gotten me very excited myself. I've had a lot of loss in my life, so knowing that there's a good possibility that I can potentially do the same thing as Johnny's doing is
you absolutely
can. It's nice to I don't know, it's comforting, I guess.
Good.
Is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I agree.
But when he showed me earlier today and told me about Steve, I was like, I got
cut out a little bit. We lost you there.
This is something that I think this is something that is really going to be able to help Steve, where, Johnny can reach out to the family, possibly help him cross over to the other side where he doesn't have to feel like he's lost or, doesn't belong where he's supposed to be, or just in a nutshell, just helping him out, you know. And I think it's a wonderful thing that Johnny's out there doing his thing with the spirit box, that he's actually has his own personal guide to keep him away from the troubles that
I
are
know.
out there.
I'm excited about it. Steve really made me more excited about it for John. John's always been passionate about it, but I think with all the recent evidence, and then especially today after the, you know, the records stuff,
Yeah.
it validated a lot of things. I mean, it was already validated for John just with what we've been doing lately and being able to speak to them through the spirit box alone already, you know. But it's just I don't know what I'm trying to say really. I'm excited to see what the future holds with everything. I'm excited to
Yes.
do the work that we have planned on working, you know, behind the scenes that we really haven't shared, but we will be sharing. Excited to tie it all together and see where this ends up really.
Yeah.
Guys, I wanted to give out a couple more wrenches, but it's not even showing me on. I'm trying to reboot my phone. Like Sean, I was going to give one to Sadie Lane, Miss Lisa. For some reason, it's not. It doesn't even show that I'm live. It shows that I have 4 views on this, and it's showing as it's like it's ended. And I know it's not ended because the chat's moving, and clearly we're live, but I don't know what's going on. The phone's glitching. And here's another thing. So yes, this goes back to Coffee's question again. So as you guys probably remember, I spoke about I bought a camcorder, handheld night vision camcorder. Well, the first time we went to the cemetery, it froze up and died. Like we literally pulled it out. We're not even 5 minutes because we started at the front of the cemetery. We hadn't even started a spirit box session. We were just getting ready to get started, and it freezes up, and we can't turn it off. We can't even nothing. I had to take the battery out of it to shut it off, and it's been sitting here for a month and a half. We've played with it, couldn't get it to work. Today, it decided to magically start working again. Don't know why. But I wholeheartedly believe that the energy was so powerful that night. I mean, look what happened. She started recording from my phone, and then we seen a ghost go by. We saw the mist, and it's not that mist is not fog. That's not smoke. Let's just say you blow smoke as fast as you can. That smoke, you can blow it as fast as you can with the fan going 100 miles an hour. The smoke's going to dissipate and just blow out into nothing. This smoke stayed in one shape and zoomed. It zoomed by me. Smoke can't move through the air that fast. There's just too much resistance. It just isn't going to happen. Smoke will swirl and dissipate. It's not smoke, guys. Not smoke. It's not moisture. It's energy, guys. That's what ghosts look like. Like sometimes you see a full-bodied apparition. It looks like a solid person. That's very rare. Most of the time, what it looks like is a mist. You catch something on the camera, it looks like a mist, like there's a fog in the room. But that's if you go. I got videos up, clips from like my ghost story. You see those fogs, those mists so frequently. Because that's what they look like. That's what it is. That's what we are. The one I haven't released yet, we call it the mosquito cemetery because both times we've been there, we've left with 1,000 mosquito bites, even though we're only there 20 minutes. It's really bad. It's right next to
the river. Yeah.
Yeah, bad. But we ask. I mean, we flat out ask in that one, and we've asked in the other cemetery, does our consciousness continue after we die? And we get a distinct yes every time. They're not scared to answer that. In fact, the guy that answered that from this other cemetery, his name is Michael. I ask him his name. He says his name is Michael. You can clearly tell it's the same voice. He's another guy that has an Irish accent. In fact, when you go back to the 1800s and late 1700s, that's when a lot of these people, they came over to America. That these are the early days of you know, our cities, our states, you know, like after we're done here, we're going to the Pioneer Cemetery. And these date back to the 1700s. So we're going to a cemetery older than the one we've been going to. So we just like to go and check those things out. Now, does it have to be old to be haunted? No, we've already proven that. We've already proven that because Steve, the incident with him happened in May, 20 years ago. Only 20 years ago. Now, what do you think of when you think of apparitions? You think of the old 1800s Victorian dressed guy with the Abe Lincoln top hat, or you think of the old woman with the doily and high collar with the bun pulled real tight like they had in the 1800s. That's what you think of when you think of apparitions, right? But that's the movies that, you know, that it does. Do they have more ability to affect the energy with time? I don't know. You know, I just think that all depends on the intensity of their energy. Some people in life, when they walk into the room, what happens? The whole room they light the room up. Their energy just fills up the whole room, right? I'm sure we all know people like that. And then we know some people that walk into a room and you barely even notice them, right? I think that's our energies, guys. And I think that type of stuff carries on. It carries over. Personalities certainly do. Lynn told me that Steve and some of the other spirits were protecting us. When we got that please leave, if y'all remember what happened, right before that came through, or right after, one of the two, Mrs. Mack gets a creepy feeling. And then she starts hearing weird shit from right there. And then boom, that's where we heard that noise the other time, where she kind of like ditches me and runs off and leaves me way down there as the bait. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't worried.
I'm not ready for it. I'm okay with hearing voices. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to see anything that
We were worried about the living, guys. We're not worried about the spirits. We were more worried about the living, because you're out in the middle of the country. If somebody wants to come there and victimize you or rob you, there's going to be no witnesses, and it could be very dangerous. So, you know, we're not we come protected. You know, I always make sure that we're safe and I can protect the people that I care about that are with me, you know. So we don't take no risks like that, but yeah, the living are certainly more dangerous, in my opinion. But yeah, then we get up. So they're pushing us out. Let me tell you. And Mrs. Mack can attest to this. That night, so we went earlier that day. Totally different feeling. We announced to the spirits, we'll be back tonight. It's about a 20-minute ride. We're about 5 minutes away, about 5 to 7 minutes away. And I look over at Tab and I say, man, do you feel that? I feel a tickle in my stomach, man. I can feel the energy already. And that's never happened before.
And I don't think I could feel it at that time. I think you asked me if I felt it. And I said, no, I don't.
Yeah, and you were being honest. You didn't. We got there. Guys, let me tell you. There's been nights there where she's off reading the headstones, looking for names and this and that. And I'm like 100 feet over around the corner. And, you know, we're barely in earshot of each other in the dark, in a cemetery, totally oblivious to our surroundings, reading headstones, not worried one bit. Let me tell you, this night, it took every bit of spine and sack that I possess to even walk into that cemetery. And then she asked me, she's like, you want to do a spirits box session up here? I was like, let's just get into the thick of it. And I figured, you know what? I gotta face my fears, and I gotta head right in. And we went right back to the furthest, darkest corner. And that's when we were told, please leave. They made it so unbelievably uncomfortable. They were trying to push us out, man. They were saying, please leave. And then you hear it, please leave, and then get out, and then something safe. Get out. Go ahead.
We didn't hear that like with our naked ear. At the time, we just kept talking about how uncomfortable we felt, like the energy we were feeling. And I don't even know we even said how scared, or I don't even know if scared's the right word, but how uncomfortable we felt until we got in the car, really. I just knew it was like a quicker session than what you normally want to do. So then we started talking about it in the car, and we both were like, found out that we both felt very uncomfortable the whole time, you know.
I had to get out. I didn't want to look. The last thing I want to do is, well, here's to be honest. I kind of think that if you think the thoughts, they can read your mind. Their energy. We're energy. You know, it's like I always hear about when people pass. They have a near death experience, that all the answers that they ever wanted, the questions that they had, they knew the answer to. Like, they didn't have to ask. They didn't even have to open their mouth and speak. It's just that they knew without knowing. They knew without asking. They were just like literally plugged into the data bank, which is the Akashic record. Christina briefly mentioned that. We kind of got into that just briefly on the last live. That's a heavy topic that we'll have to dive into at another time. But that's what I think happened. So, but just in case that's not what happened, I don't want to be there. Besides, they say they're looking at you, or they're looking. That basically saying, there's something negative here. They're looking at you. Get out. Please leave. We've been back since. And I've been back since. Have you been back since? You haven't, have you?
I don't know. We've just been going so much. We've been hitting it so hard lately. I can't remember.
I went back, and that's when it did not record. So this is what happened. I went back a couple days later, I think 2 days later. And I did a spirit box session. They were mowing, and they stopped mowing. They finished mowing. I did a spirit box session. It was about a half an hour long. I went to go stop it. It did not record. I was less than pleased because I got some real good stuff, like really good stuff. So then I go to my phone, because I was using the phone, and I go to video, and I hit record again. And I literally watch it start counting as it's recording. So then I go around, I get back in front of the camera. I know that it's recording because I just double checked it. And I do the session. I come back around again. It did not record. Like it stopped recording. I don't know why. I didn't hit nothing. It just stopped recording. So I went to do a third session, and I got like a couple of things, and one of them said no questions or something like that. They didn't want to answer. I got one name. My brother's name came through. My brother that passed. So I don't know if he just wanted to hog the session, and if he wanted to come through. I don't know what happened there, but for some reason, nothing recorded. It glitched. And it's the same spot, the same exact spot where my camera fried on me. By number 11, where we always go to. You've seen it's on one of my thumbnails. It says, it's got the K2. It says the unknown speaker something. And you can see it says unknown 11. That for some reason, that's where I always go. That's the spot that, probably because that's the first place we went where we got amazing spirit box evidence. So me being like a creature of habit and kind of superstitious, I think I just go back there as like, we got good luck there, might as well go back there again. But we've gotten good luck all over that cemetery. And I think that Steve has kind of been like the buffer with some of these people and help them to come through a little bit.
But I feel like there's still work to do there, because a lot of the things we thought were significant to the unknown section there, we are finding out is all tied to Steve, like the number 11, which you've shared a bit, but not what it's really tied to yet. And then the 20, a lot of those things we're finding out.
Oh, yeah, the 11. Oh, the 11. That's right. That's what it was. That's okay. So his birthday, number 20, that I kept harping about, number 20, that is the day he was born. He was born on the 20th. 11 is the time that he passed, 11 o'clock. It's on the report. On the report, guys, 11 and 20. Those numbers mean something.
So I feel like maybe once we're finished with like Steve, I mean, I don't know. I just now feel like we have a lot of work to do, which has made it more exciting also.
I promised him. I promised him and I promised them that I would do what I can to make sure that they're not unknown and that their stories are told and that their voices will be heard. And then if there's any way we can see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help Steve, but at the unknown section of the cemetery, we get names every time. David comes through all the time. Jeff has come through several times. Tom comes through over and over as well. Lisa comes through over and over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a sign and I'm going to have the names. I'm going to get a nice sign. I may have it engraved or something like that, a wooden sign, and I don't know how I'm going to have it made yet. I'm just brainstorming here, but I'm going to have their names, the names that we come up with that we believe to be some of the names of the unknown. And we're going to put it back there and give them a name. We're going to do that. Cause I promised, and that's, and if I give my word, as most of y'all know, I keep it. I keep it. Hey, Sessa, what's going on, brother? Steve is acting as a sort of spirit guide. Yeah. And you know what? Because there is dangers when you mess around, guys. You know, like I don't, and Lynn is going to come on and she's going to talk about that. We're going to talk about spirit boxes, attachments. See, we were going to talk about that. It's when people have the grandkids over and they're doing family things, I don't push, like I would rather people spend time with their families, but she's going to be on, she's going to join us. And let me tell you, she's amazing, freaking amazing. But she told me that, yes, he's acting as kind of like a protector. And she's going to talk about the spirit boxes because I've made it look like it's not a big deal. And it's just no big deal. You can just go run a spirit box, no consequences. You have to know, guys, if you go by, because a few people have said that they are now inspired to get spirit boxes. Just know this. You will pick up hitchhikers. You maybe you might not, but you can. You can. I have. And just so you know, like Aaron Goodwin from Ghost Adventures, Nick Groff from Ghost Adventures originally, even Zach, they all believe that something negative attached to them from Bobby Mackey's. That, and the first episode, I think, they do a recap, and I believe that Aaron Goodwin attributes to some of the problems with it and reason that his marriage ended. He attributes to the negative entities that attached to him from Bobby Mackey. So I apologize to anybody if I make it seem like it's something that should not be taken seriously, or it's just nothing to worry about. I apologize. Yes, you should take it very seriously, because you're opening up a doorway to whoever. You don't know who's coming through. It's like basically like opening up your home. You're inviting people in, and it would be like opening up your home to random strangers. People are nasty people in the spirit realm, just like they're nasty in the living world. And I don't think that leaves us. That's your goodness is part of your soul, your spirit. This is just the best.
Christina touched on that a little bit when she was on our show, but I think Lynn really touched on that, when you talked with her on the phone. So that'll be nice, I feel like, when she shares that with everyone. Hello, Sessa. And I wanted to go back, I think it was like to Amanda's comment about like a spiritual like guide. It's funny that you said that, because I was saying to John at some point, like if he felt like he was some type of guardian angel, and John said more like a big brother. And this was before we found out, like, that there was only a 7-year age difference and things.
That was 2-3 days ago, and it's during this video, I believe. I think it's during this video, the mosquito one that I showed you guys a clip of. She says, do you think he's like a guardian angel? And I guess he is, though, in a way. He's a guardian spirit. And I literally say, it's kind of more like a big brother, little brother type of thing. And he is my little brother's age, so it's, and then you got the connection with my son, and both him and I having, just having a little bit. I think everybody has a certain amount of depression and anxiety. That's human nature. Humans are nervous critters. It's just the way it's human nature. But I've dealt with a little depression. I just think it's part of my wiring, and my son has a little bit too. And I think that may be what kind of like bonded us. Yeah, and think about it. At first I was creeped out. It was like, I got this guy, he's always around me. But then, Lynn kind of made it very clear to me. The way she explained it, and kind of like how Tab says, 20 years have gone by. The movie theater's not even there anymore. So you got two guys that come over there, and my wife went with me too, other times, but it's like nobody was there after the first time because he was with me, I guess. But you go there and you're talking, so he's there for 20 years. Nobody's even acknowledging him. And then all of a sudden, after 20 years, somebody's there addressing him and speaking to him.
Like you went there for him, John.
I went there yes, this was all for him. This is all for him, and I just lost the thought that I was going to say. Damn it.
You were saying how I basically said that like you went there for him. He was forgotten, in life. And then.
So he's by my side.
Yes.
Think about this, guys. If you had a tragedy like that in your life, and you felt the way he felt, and there was no other option, and then 20 years go by and somebody finally acknowledges you and you're known now all of a sudden you're noticed. If it was me and I was in his shoes, I would not leave my side either. Have you guys ever seen the movie Ghost Town? The comedian, he's a dentist. He goes in for a procedure. He dies from the anesthesia, and then after that, all of a sudden, the spirits he can see and hear the spirits, and they start following him around and all that. It's like that, and once the spirits notice that you notice them, and they have a message that they want to get across, can you blame them? I mean, really, could you blame them? Because I would do the same thing. Now, he's been very respectful. Now, that's different. If he's coming and harassing you, it bothering people, that's a whole nother thing entirely. But I understand. And once she explained that to me, I didn't have a problem with it anymore. In fact, I've been apologizing that it's taken this long to figure out what his name is. But now I know it. And I felt when I first saw the name, when she handed me the phone, she's like, "You want to know what his name is? You're never going to believe it." And I saw that. I had this wave of emotions come over me that were not from me, guys. I could feel the relief and the excitement of him knowing that I know now. He finally knows my name. He finally knows. The information made its way there. I could feel that coming through from his energy. And it overwhelmed me to I went into waterworks. I started tearing up immediately. That wasn't me. I was happy, not sad. I was happy. I was totally overcome with emotion. And that was his emotion. I know it because it was a very foreign feeling to me. And I'm not claiming to be psychic, guys. I'm not. And in fact, you know, like sometimes I'll come up with things and we'll say things at the same time. I'll call people at the same time that they're dialing me. I do have a lot of that stuff, but this is the reason that I wanted to read
We do that all the time, Johnny.
Intuitive You. So if you guys haven't read this book, it says right here in the beginning that this book, the entire Intuitive You psychic development program, is dedicated to a courageous woman named Suzanne who wanted to learn mediumship in order to communicate with her son, who had passed unexpectedly. Without her having the courage to ask for that teaching, this program would not exist. So if you guys have that gift and you know that you have it and you want to develop it, buy this book. We just got them in the mail. I just started it this afternoon. I just opened it. It's written by Christina Bloom. Go look in the description of my last live stream that she was on. It's in the description. The link for the book is in the description. Go check it out. She'll be a guest again soon. She can validate as well. She also validated that Steve is a new friend of mine. He says you have a new friend. She asked me because knowing who he is and knowing the story, being able to help him. I have two people that can help me cross him over. So he knows that.
It's been nice to have them as a resource because it has given me some like peace with it. Like I don't feel like I'm quite as at ease with everything as you are. I'm just kind of taking it in like day by day as we're like learning to do this together. So I feel like they've been like a great resource and helping me like feel okay, you know, with all the things.
Lynn is a friend of a friend. He's a friend. She's a friend of a friend, and I actually, my brother who passed, and I'll let her tell the story in detail. But she visited him or her son, and her daughter the day before, or a couple of days before my friend reached out to her. My brother visited her, and her daughter saw my brother full body apparition, and the son had sleep paralysis and was able to come out of the sleep paralysis in time to see his profile, the silhouette of him. The daughter saw him full color, full bodied, solid, like a normal, cute, living person. When I sent the picture to her, I heard the daughter's reaction. She was like me when I found out that Steve was the kid's name. She's like, that's him, that's him, that's him, Mom, that's him, look, that's him. Like she was really, really excited because it scared her. He scared her to where Lynn and he was coming through to the daughter, to the son, to her, and he kept coming through to her over and over and over. And she had to say, okay, you're here. I understand that. But be respectful of boundaries. And she said he immediately was respectful. They set this up, guys, between Steven and my brother. They made this happen, guys.
But you should let Lynn tell it when we have her on. Don't give too much away because that's going to be a pretty exciting. But like the basis of it is we had Christina on, who we met through doing some like networking, and a lot of people saw her and enjoyed that content. So then one of our friends told us about Lynn, and then the rest kind of is history from there. We reached out to Lynn, and then she realized why she was seeing John's brother, and then just kind of all the pieces came together. She did a private reading for John one night, and
Thanks,
so that's kind of really how all that tied together.
I'd like to share. Unfortunately, it's a very personal reading, and it has to do with some family members. I'd really like to share some of it. Maybe in time I will, but it was so relieving, some of the things that she told me that I've been wondering about.
And
And
she told us how we need to like protect ourselves and our houses with bad energy. When you were talking about that, I was going to bring that up. So that's another resource that she's helped us with those things too.
do you remember? So you remember when we lived over there in the brook? You remember the brook? I don't need to say the first part of it. You remember how much paranormal activity we had over there? It was negative, stuff over there. It was stuff that would scare you, like startling shadow figures, negative, creepy energy. Since her mother has passed, unfortunately, we have not had any negative stuff happen here. And I that's one thing that I noticed, and it was validated that she does not let anybody in here. She let Steve in the house. So if Steve got into into this house, he can't be negative. And I know that he's not, but my mother-in-law, who one of my best friends in life, very protective over me and her daughter, was always very protective over me. We were always very, very close friends. For those of you that have in-law problems, I don't understand. I feel for you. I never had, well, that's not true. I've had a little bit. Oh, here she is. Speak.
With my father.
Yep.
That doesn't surprise me that my mom is protecting. When she said that, I let you do your reading privately, but I heard her say that for you to tell me that, my mom was protecting the house. And that really didn't surprise me. And I do talk to her like all the time, my mother, like, when I'm just having one of those days, especially because I have her ashes in a necklace. So sometimes I'll touch the necklace and say something to her, that kind of thing. So I know she's here.
Guys, if you guys could, you know what? I will share it with y'all. I'm going to redact little pieces of it. I'll clip it, okay? And I'll share that because I do say some names that I don't want to share because I want validation. That's I'm trying to get the validation and answers through the spirit box. But when we're speaking to her mother, we are addressing her and her husband, her stepfather, who was another one of my very close friends who passed a year before her. We have both of their cremains here, but we were addressing them both at the same time. We were getting answers back in twos. We were getting a male and a female response. Some of the voices you can tell voice tone. You could hear the cadence of her stepfather's voice, his speaking. You can tell it's him by his voice. He has a very distinct voice. I recognized it. Anybody that knew him would recognize it. I recognized my own brother's voice at the end, although I didn't hear that one in real time. It's real, y'all. Like if anybody is ever today, anybody in this chat, if any of y'all have anxiety attacks about passing and things like that, please know our energy carries on. Ever since I had my diagnosis, I have early stage 4 cirrhosis, non-alcoholic cirrhosis called NASH. I've always been a paranormal enthusiast, but ever since then, my wife and I have made it a point of traveling now instead of waiting because that's the number one thing the sick elderly patients tell her, or used to tell her when she was a floor nurse, is don't wait to travel, make memories now, don't wait to retire, travel, live life now. So we live life now because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, even if you are healthy. But anyways, we've made it a point to live life, to take trips, to go places, to meet people, to experience things. And that's, you shouldn't wait. Just know that we live on. Our family, they're all waiting for us. So are our pets, because in that session where I'm speaking to my mother-in-law, she validates that she has seen all of our pets. I ask her, does Roxy, one of her pit bulls, that one of that's the last dog she owned. It was hit by a car, unfortunately, and had to be put down. But I asked about that dog specifically, and my dog, and as you all know, pets live on as well. Any living thing has a living soul, continues. So yes, I got that validation as well. And as some of y'all know, I lost a pet recently, and it's tough. It's tough. So I've gotten validation on all of that, and it's I want to share that with people that are struggling. I know a lot. Like one thing that really messed with me in my early 20s, is in my teens I had a little bit of depression. Then in my early 20s, I had a knot pop up in my chest and on my arm. It ended up being a cyst, but I started worrying. I thought it was cancer when I was a kid. My anxiety ran away with me, and I started running scenarios in my head and already thinking the worst, even though it ended up being a nothing, a benign cyst that it went away on its own too. But that had me into a tailspin that led me into panic attacks, which led me into nerve pill abuse and all of that crap. But that's what I was worrying about. That was the panic attack that I was having, is what happens when we die. And then I wasn't able to catch my breath. Then my throat felt like it was closing. Then classic panic attack, right? But that's normally most people that have intense anxiety, that's what it's about, dying. And I just wish that I could just give the knowledge and the knowingness that I have to the people that struggle with that, because I used to be one of them.
It's really the fear of the unknown, not really fear of dying. A lot of people are just, they don't know what, if there's life after death, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I feel like I became more at peace with that, like the longer and longer I was like a bedside nurse. I think I've shared on our last live, and I was telling Christina, I watch people and I hold the hands of dying patients, or I did all the time, and they would see their loved ones and they would be talking to them, and it's just not a hallucination. There's just no way it's a hallucination that it happens every single time a person is dying, or if they're not unconscious. If their eyes are open and they're talking to someone who's usually not there, their mother, their father, a child, something like that. So that was validated for me already, So sometimes the anxiety, about dying is like the fear of not knowing how or when, that type of thing.
And what you just said carries a lot of weight, because when I heard a lot of these stories, guys, believe me, they even had one that came back to life at like how long, like half an hour after being pronounced dead. But anyways,
they weren't pronounced yet.
Well, it was a big deal around the hospital. It was around Christmas time. It was considered a Christmas miracle. But anyways, when you got these people and they're at the end of their life and they start talking to their loved ones, they're talking to people that have passed. Now, if they're having hallucinations, then they would be speaking gibberish. They would be talking to, oh, there's an elephant walking through my room, or so just saying random, weird, bizarre shit. They're speaking to family members. They're reaching out to them, like to hold their hand, like they're coming to get them. Like if it was not real, they wouldn't be speaking to people, it would be gibberish. So people try to invalidate that and say, oh, well, that's the brain releasing chemicals, which creates like an LSD effect, because your brain's getting flooded with chemicals and stuff. But which that does happen, but I don't think that accounts for everything. I mean, it's just too much. There's too much proof out there. And now, I mean, with the spirit box thing, you know, that's the reason I wanted that. I wanted real-time validation. I wanted to be able to hear them in real time. It's still hard. They come through in 1.5 speed. So it's very hard to catch them.
But you could really tell on the videos when we're hearing something in real time versus when we hear it like later. Our reaction is like very different. You can honestly tell that just by watching the videos, you know. There's a lot of things that the majority of it we hear later when we're playing it back.
Okay. Found you. Okay. So he said he found you from the spirit box. He said when he figured out you were able to communicate, he came through. He said because I did not start with the spirit box over there. I started with the K2 meter. He said you guys were pretty cool and he felt that connection with you and he decided he was going to hang around for a while. He says, my friends are awesome. They actually listen to me. He says that we listen to him.
Is that Lynn?
That's yes. She's taught. This is my psychic friend right now texting me. I don't know if she knows that I'm live. If you guys, the most heartbreaking thing, if you go to his obituary, 20 years have passed. Not one post, guys. Not one post from family. Not one post from friends. And it kind of like, it's a very generic obituary. And it talks about all the friends in it. He talks about not having friends. There's no friends come through. Nobody heard him. He was unheard. Nobody noticed him. He talks about that in this letter. So he says that my new friends listen to me. It's pretty cool. He's being heard more now than he was when he was around. That hurts me. Steve, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like I'm here for you. I love you. My wife loves you. We're here for you, and we're going to help you, man. We're going to help you. He can't cross over, though. He's unsettled. He said his letting him, and his missions that were set for him. So he is conflicted. If you read his letter, guys, he believes that God turned his back on him. He believes that God kind of left him in the lurch. Why is there suffering? Why is this happening to me? Why am I suffering? Why is there some of the negative things that he mentioned? I can't really quote verbatim, but he brings up certain things. Why is there deaths or sicknesses or this or different things if God exists? And you know, I think that doesn't necessarily mean God doesn't exist. And I wish Code was up here now because he could weigh in on this. And he's you know, that these are the things that I think that evil will get into our heads and play trickery on our minds. He can't cross over. He's unsettled. He said his lack of belief in God is not letting him, and he has to work on himself and his missions that were set for him. He wants us to get him there when it's time for him. So he has already in contact with Lynn. She's already been communicating with him. He trusts me. He has some good. He trusts her. He trusts her because I trust her. And he knows she's a very easy person to I'm telling you guys, you'll meet her, you'll instantly like her. She's got that energy. And I understand that I clicked with her. And I knew I would. I already knew ahead of time, you know, because she's friends with a good friend of mine and he's a special type of person. And she read him and blew him away. So that got my attention. I got a friend that is impossible to bullshit. He's one of those guys you can't fool with nonsense, right? So if you're going to try to impress him with something and really blow him away with a reading, you got to come correct. You got to come with some shit, boy. You got to come with some facts and some stuff that really is going to set you apart from an average reading. And boy, did she come with this. She came with it. She came with it, and she did with me too, guys. She called me a nickname I have not heard in 30 years. Something my brother used to call me.
I think you were blown away with her, like from the moment she did your reading. You trusted her because of the friend that put you in contact with her. Then she did the reading, and I fell asleep during that, during that time. And when you woke me up to tell me about all the things that she hit on, I was impressed. And then this just like confirmed all the rest of it, everything that happened today. I did want to say something to Lisa's comment back there, like about just saying that she wasn't ready to go, but she wasn't scared to go. That's how I think that I feel. Like, I think I used to have the same fear that everybody had, but then after seeing death and knowing that it could be peaceful and feeling like there are loved ones like waiting, I'm no longer afraid either. I'm at peace. I don't want to go. I still feel too young, and I have a lot to do still here for my children and my grandchildren, but I know when it's my time, I'm at peace with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I still, up until recently, I used to have real bad anxiety problems, and it would be when I was awake, I would have them. But here recently, up until recently, when we started doing the communication here, I would get those, but I would get those bad anxiety, like, are we going to be done? Like, when we die, like that pops into my head as I'm drifting off to sleep or coming out of a sleep. And it's like one of those anxiety things that shakes you to your core and scares you, and it gets your heart beating really hard. But then as soon as I wake up, it dissipates. I haven't had any of that at all since Steve's been around, really, to be honest, since we've started getting evidence. It's just a lot of things have shifted for me, basically, like perspective wise, knowing the evidence we've caught. There's no more doubt. There's no more doubt, guys. It's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. I don't need any more proof to know what I've gotten is genuine and it's authentic. But I've gotten so much redundancy with the names, with Steve coming through, and to now know that's his name and we have proof of that. Wow, I'm blown away, guys. I really am. Can't say it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, she comes up with the facts that nobody could know. Because a lot of psychics, they basically, I was watching the thing. It was Wild Rides with Steve-O, another Steve, right? And he even addresses himself as Steve-O when he writes this letter, but it's Steve-O, and he's got Chris Angel, the magician, in the he's like in this van. That's this studio, this van. So he's talking to Chris Angel, which is known for sleight of hand and magic, and Chris Angel's claiming that all psychics are just cold reading people, and it's bullshit, and it's not real. And I beg to differ. There's no way she could have come up with the names and the things that she came up with. Not just on me, but with the stuff that she came up with, knowing these names and where Steve came from, and that was his name. And if I was a betting man, if I was a betting person, and I was giving somebody a cold reading like that, and I was trying to just hustle somebody, I would have most definitely went with the cemetery thing. Okay, you visited a cemetery. Well, that's where you picked them up from, because there's a whole bunch of people at unrest there that are marked unknown. She was adamant. Nope, he did not come from that cemetery. Nope, you're wrong. He is not number 20. Nope, I'm telling you, I do not think that's him. She was very, very adamant. She's right. She was right. And that's the thing. Like, she told me that she was very confident in her readings, and she's got a reason to be. She's dead on the money.
I don't
But
know. I've never like seen a psychic or a medium like in person, you know, minus like what I've ever watched on TV or anything. I think at one point I was skeptical, but it really just depends on like the type of reading. If it's generic, you know, you kind of know, like,
yes,
had somebody pass tragically. Well, like, what are the chances of that?
suddenly, right, or suddenly. Well, everybody, when they lose somebody, well, it was unexpected because you don't expect anybody to pass that you love. You want them to be there for as long as possible. So yeah, that's like and everybody knows somebody that passed suddenly from a sudden illness, an accident, or something. Everybody knows somebody that's, you know what I mean? So right away, that's like 70% of people that pass. Most people don't get the blessing of knowing in advance that they're going to pass. Or the curse. That could also be a curse, knowing when you're going to pass. But it's, I don't know, guys. I wanted to share this because it's so mind-blowing to me. I don't know if it's impressive to you guys as it is to me. I hope so. Because when you see the clips I'm going to show you, and that's the thing. Like, do you reach out to the family? What do you do? What do you do? Do you reach out to the family when the kid obviously... See, I know that when you're 16 years old, you look at things differently. You're not... Your brain's not developed. You're a freaking hormone raging city because you're going through puberty. So you're not going to look at the same things the same way you're going to look at them at 21, and then again at 25, and then again at 30, and then again at 40. You know, like, I think I probably looked at things differently 5 years ago. So that things keep changing over time. You get wiser, you get more mileage, and you learn a few things. And you know, one, that doing something like that is it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. We also know that, bad times, and they pass. Like, this too shall pass. That's a very powerful saying, because the worst of worst times will pass. There's always a better day. It's never gonna rain forever. Things like that. Those are powerful sayings. Another powerful saying, which is one of the things I'm trying to live by now, guys. I really am. And it's very hard for me because I'm not that type of person. I'm not a people person. I know I can come up here and go for a long time. I come up here and entertain y'all. My wife's a people person. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not good at dealing with people. So that's one of my downfalls. But one of the best sayings was said by Albert Einstein. And let me get it verbatim. And that's what the fuck is it? I want to give it to you the right way. A life lived for others, I believe. A life lived. Okay, this is it. Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile. That's powerful. When you do something nice for somebody, it feels good, right? When you give, it's better. It feels better to give than receive. So when that's very powerful. That's the best thing you can do, is dedicate your life to other people, making their lives better. So this is what I want to do with what I'm doing with the paranormal, is to help people that I can help, man. Help the people that are stuck. If I can help anybody to move along, if they got stuck along the way and they need a little push or a little nudge or a little bit of help getting a message across, that's what I want to do. And I've made it kind of my mission to help Steve, and I think he's kind of made it his mission in return to look out for me. And isn't that what we're supposed to be doing here, guys, on this earth? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? make life better for ourselves, our family, and our friends. Be good people. Look out for one another. Treat each other with kindness and respect. Love one another. You know, knock off the bullying. Because what happens with bullying? People get hurt, and you don't know who you're affecting. You know that I know that the people attack me and my family every day on social media. It's the price of admission. I got very thick skin, but you don't know who you're attacking, and they don't know who they're messing with, and what pains and troubles those people are going through in their lives. You don't know.
Well,
And I
that's
don't.
the thing with social media too, is, it reaches so many more people. There were platforms, back 20 years ago, but not like it is now. So this was bullying that was, a lot of it I feel like was probably like obviously face to face and in school, which there's still bullying there too. But now with all like the social media platforms and things, it reaches so many people in so many different places that could be in so many like dark places in their lives. I don't know. You just never know what people are going through. But I've always truly have always lived my life that way. Like
She
I don't know.
has. She has, guys. Like what I'm saying. When people come on, and I know that's this is not the meaning of this show, and I don't address any drama on this channel. But really, believe me, like when I tell you that she's a nurse, she deals with people in their darkest, most vulnerable situation, and she wants to do it. That's the people that you don't attack people like that. You praise and you support people like that. You don't tear those people down. We don't have enough of those people in the world today. Everybody's too worried about themselves and what they can get for themselves. Just the selfishness that goes on today. And 20 years later, this kid has been waiting for somebody to be there for him. Well, we're here now, and we're going to help him. And anybody else that needs help, like I said it in the unknown section, like this is my mission, y'all. This is my mission, and I'm going to share it with y'all along the way. So
I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So I have information now that I can zero in and get further validation from Steve. I don't need it, but I can get it for the purposes of showing proof to make his story known. I'm going to put up as much validation as proof as I can get. So people will say, there he is. That's him. That's who he's there. And he was there, and now he's being helped and taken care of, and people have their arms around him spiritually, and he's not alone and suffering anymore. That's what I want for him. I want him to feel like, he's accepted, wanted, and loved, and for him to move on. I'm sure he regrets it. She spoke to me about other readings she's done for other people that I know who've had people that have passed because of taking their own life, and they most of the time end up regretting it. They do.
I think it depends on the situation. Something like Steve's situation, he probably does regret it because it was a moment in time when all that emotion and all those hormones were so, like he felt trapped, like he had no other way out. Then there's people like Christina's son, who she explained to us that, he was very comfortable with knowing, that there was life after death because he used to do readings and things with her. So, he had some chronic health issues and just knew that he was tired of suffering, so I don't know that he would have regretted it. You know what I'm saying? It really is situational, I think, as far as the regrets would go. And definitely somebody in a moment in time who just was suffering for that, life would have gotten better, but he obviously didn't know that,
Companionship, guys. He talks about it in the letter. He wanted female companionship. Nobody noticed him. He didn't have any friends. Nobody noticed him. He worked at at a fast food place, and he thought that he was going to end up as a dead-end fast food worker, and he was never going to be anything more than that. But the kid was 16 years old. You know, he just got a job. He hadn't even started life. So I know where his head was at. I know it. I know. I've been there. Like, I know. I've had those moments of deep depression in my teens. I understand. And it feels like for that period of time that's the best option. There's nothing else. That's the best way to go. It's the right way to go. And he writes a whole paragraph about how it's not. Okay, no problem, brother. No problem. Thanks for stopping up, Drazo. I thank you for letting me know, man. He said he was going to drop down. He just wanted to let me know. It's just this very, very, very sad situation that, you know, to know that some of these things that were going on were mean-ass kids, guys. Mean-ass kids. You know, but see, my wife and I were talking about this. When you become 18 years old and you leave high school, that popularity crap, gone. Ceases to exist. There's no more social hierarchy from the high school days once you graduate. In fact, you very rarely even continue a relationship with most of those people. So you end up meeting a whole new group of people, and it's so much things change, and
it changes in every phase of your life. You know, then there's the college phase, and, you know, a lot of people who were, you know, picked on because they were ugly or whatnot in high school, or people didn't find them attractive and they had no friends. Some of those become some of the best looking people, you know.
Yes.
And your perspective also changes as you get older and you age. You know, what you thought was cute in high school, you know, like I feel like in high school it was all about the physical, you know, for me and the majority of other people. And then you get older and you're like, well, looks don't last. I mean, you do have to be attracted to somebody, but sometimes that becomes like a personality trait, you know, versus looks. You're attracted to a person's personality, but you mature, and as you mature, those things change for you and your perspective and outlook changes. But when you're 16, you don't know that, you know, you have to, that's the biggest thing.
Jen, I know you came in a little late. I thought Steve was from the cemetery. In fact, I was kind of adamant about that. I thought that he was number 20 from the cemetery. And my psychic friend Lynn gave me a reading, and she said, no, he's not from the cemetery. Do you remember when I did the mall investigation where the kid crashed his car to the side of the movie theater? That's Steve. We got the police report. And the reason that I could not find it, I believe, is because he's a juvenile. I went to the library, could not find it. We went through papers, through the newspapers, could not get this information. I'm not worried about anybody Googling it and finding it. You're not going to find it. It's not there. I looked. We've looked.
He's been on a search.
I've been searching for weeks. Yeah. Finally, I went to the police station, and I had to go in, and I got the number to their records department, and then I had to call and leave a message, and then wait a couple of days for them to pull the stuff for me. They finally pulled it. That's who Steve is. She was right. It was him. It's amazing, but she knew it was him, and he wasn't from the cemetery. He's from over here. So he's been with me longer than the cemetery. But I think he realized that, because when I was over there, I wasn't doing the spirit box so much. I did more of that at the cemetery. So now that I'm doing the spirit box, he knows. See, every time we go to a new place, this new place we went to, we got so many more names coming through because word spreads. Once they figure out they can come through, they line up. They line up. When I got that message that said there's 500 people there probably was 500 people there. There probably was. They crowd around you, all waiting to come through. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you?
It's like the movie Ghost. That's what I picture in my head. You know, when she's sitting at the table and like the the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, that yes.
It reminds me
yes.
of he's sitting at the table and there's all those people around who want to talk, and then he like jumps in her body first before, you know, anyone else, but she could hear and see, or, you know, talk
Yes.
to people.
Exactly.
That's what it
Once
makes
they see in those movies, those fictional movies, guys, don't think for a second that these people, they make this stuff up, fiction, out of their heads. But what they're doing is they're recreating reality. They're recreating what is already like ingrained in their soul. They know that these are things that it's just weird. Like some of the things that we learn, like we can learn from the movies, like Ghost Town. That movie is unbelievably accurate, even though it's fiction. Ghost, when she's sitting there and she's psychic, she's reading as a psychic, and all those people or all those family members are waiting around. That happens. I know that because,
and not only that, you know, his spirit stayed around to help her toward the, like at the end, and then he goes to the light at the end when the other guy is going to what I presume would be like hell, you know.
yeah. So he's working out his problem. He solves the mystery of how his murder and all that. And he basically, because Molly was in danger, right? So he warns Molly that Carl, the scumbag friend of his that was trying to you know what to his woman, trying to steal her away, had set all that crap up. See, I remember useless movie names and movie facts. If we ever did a movie at trivia night, you guys better watch out because I'm a beast.
Seriously.
You know, I remember names and movie plots that, you know, like that. Like I'm like a computer when it comes to that. Too bad it's only for useless trivia. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's too bad it's not for anything that can make me rich. But you know,
But it's
people,
original, but ties in is my point. That's all I was saying.
it all ties in. Just to know that. Oh man, when I found out it was Steve, I can't express enough. I keep saying it, but y'all should have been in the living room and seen my face and the energy you could have felt the energy in the living room. It was just unbelievable. But it's comforting, guys, because somebody. Okay, let me answer another question. Brew asked me. He said, "Do any of them mess with the animals?" I think from once in a while a transient spirit comes through here. Yes, I do. And I think that they have before bothered my guinea pigs. They make a distress call. Guinea pigs will make a distress call. Most people will own guinea pigs for years and never hear this distress call. They use it in the wild to alert other guinea pigs when there's a predator on the loose, or if there's a hawk flying around or something. And it's a very loud, it sounds like a bed, like if somebody's doing it in the bed and it's squeaky, it goes, it sounds like the bed squeaking. That's what it sounds like, but it's really loud. It'll wake you up out of a dead sleep. I've had them do that a couple of times. And rabbits will thump when they're scared. And you can hear a rabbit can thump the floor, and it's loud. They thump a lot harder than you could ever imagine. They've thumped a few times. Not in a while, though. So, yeah, they will. I've asked Steve specifically not to do that. I've asked him not to do that. So they don't bother him. But, yes, they can. In fact, cats and dogs, they can see. They see in different light spectrums than we do. So they can actually see spirits, whereas with our the light spectrum that we see in, we don't see the spirits. It's more of like a UV spectrum. So they see in a different spectrum. They see more. So yeah, they can sense it too. So yeah, they do mess with pets. Yeah, my focus, he does. He pops stuff in my head. I bounce all over the place. I'm sorry about that. Take it over too. Sometimes they do, Lisa. They do that. They talk over one another. Felt that just came to leave or something. Yeah. So here you go. Jen's asking you. You had a feeling in the last video. Then a message came and said, "Please leave." Was that the feeling? So you had that negative feeling, right? You talked about that earlier.
I did have that negative feeling, and I really can't say that it was like to leave. I didn't feel like I needed to leave. I just felt different, like the energy.
You heard noises. You were hearing noises.
I did. I hear the noises, but I didn't hear the noise when I felt that. Like I made a noise. I was like, whoo. I just felt something. I don't know what I felt. I
You
just
said, I keep getting creeped out. I'm getting really creeped out or something. You say that, but it just said it right before that, like a second before that, and we didn't catch it.
yeah.
And it does say, please leave. So yeah, she felt it. I also felt it. But you notice when I startle myself, you don't see me laugh. You see her laughing, but you don't see me laugh, do you? I'm like, haha, and I just keep going. You want to know why? Because it took everything I had to not from wanting to just pick up and run, guys. Like it's the energy. Have you ever been in a creepy place, or you're walking up the steps late at night, or anywhere creepy, and you feel like something's just right on the back of your neck, and it's just right there, just getting ready to just get you? That's how we felt the entire time that night, and we've never felt that way there before.
It just felt like really off. It's really hard to explain. I think like John was saying earlier in the live that we will be up there, and we'll be way far away from each other, to the point one time we were recording and he even said we have to be closer to each other. We can't like venture off so far if we're trying to like record for, our video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that night we were like right underneath each other. Like, we stayed very close. My stomach dropped when we got there. You were saying how you were asking me if I felt, a few minutes away, you already felt the energy.
It does that.
Yeah.
When you pull in, your stomach drops. Like you feel like you can feel the energy in your heart and throat drop to your stomach. It's weird. It's like gravity triples.
That was the first time that ever really happened to me. Like I was still pretty much at peace with just the talking. Like I think I said on the last live, once you start talking and interacting, everything else kind of goes out of your head, because you're just so enamored at the fact that you are actually speaking to somebody who isn't really
doesn't have a body, right? Who's past. Yes.
So then you forget about everything else. That night I couldn't forget about everything else. Like I was very like hyper aware of my surroundings.
That's why I posted that, guys. I figured y'all would think that would be funny. Like, that's why I posted it. It's we're gonna do we'll do a bloopers video, and we'll put all that stuff in there, because once in a we have little laughs and stuff, but I cut a lot of that stuff out because I edit it. Like, we don't stop recording. Like, if I say, don't worry about it, just say that again, and I'll edit it out. And then she'll just say it again, or I'll say it again, and I'll just edit it out. And I take care of that later. But sometimes, like, we have little back and forths, and we'll be laughing and breaking each other's what's just for fun. We have a good time when we investigate. So we want to include some of that stuff with you guys. So you see, we have a good time doing it. It's you should always have fun too. That's important. Laugh, smile, enjoy life, guys. It's the whole reason we're here.
I think that brings character to the videos. I know that though you want it to be taken seriously. So I think.
Well, I mean, the comedies, they still take it seriously. I just, I don't want to. Here's what I don't want, guys. I don't want to start doing. I know that the spirit box, the cemetery, gets a little redundant, guys. I get that. It's special to us and exciting every time, because we ourselves are interacting with the same spirits and new ones over and over again. So we've kind of developed a relationship with them. And I know it's like the same stuff over and over again, but more of them are coming through, and we'll do other stuff. But I did want to show some of that stuff too. So it's not just the same crap over and over. But yeah, I really wanted to share, because you can see the reason I share the same cemetery. I've done multiple of those, because you can see some of the same names. Tom comes through over and over again. Lisa comes through over and over again. We've gotten Martha a couple of times, Chrissy a couple of times, Steve many, 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 many times. We've gotten the numbers over and over again. 20. We now know that 20 ties in with Steve, which I thought it did already, but I thought his number was 20. It's not. That's his birthday. So a lot of this stuff, you can see the redundancy. You can see it confirm itself over and over and over again. So like, I don't have to say, oh, well, this is him coming through on this video, because you can see like 6 videos where he comes through every single time. Then the one I haven't posted yet, not only does he come through before I ask for him. Then I ask for him, he comes through, and then I ask him to reconfirm it, and he comes through again.
The other thing too, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just saying that's not coincidence, guys. That's proof.
I was just going to say the other thing is too, when you're here from this side, as you're getting to like talk to them more and more and hear them come through on the box. Like, I think this last session we did at a new cemetery, I even said, it sounds like Steve. Like, you could hear the yeses, you could start hearing tones. So now, like, when Steve says yes or no, it really sounds like his yes or no. Or when he says Steve, like, I know what he sounds like now too.
Yes, we can go, and that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to prepare this. It's going to be nice, because I am going to freaking tag the police station.
They want to be tagged in it.
They want to be tagged.
We're very interested in it,
Hey, Kate, how you doing?
I really wasn't sure, to be honest, when you left a message, at the records place, explaining what we were looking for and why we were looking for it, how serious they were going to take it. But then when she called today to get the email address to send it to, number one, she was extremely friendly, but she was also very interested in wanting to know what we find out, like very excited about it. You could tell that she must have heard not only from your voicemail, but possibly even the police officer that stopped you in the lot the one night you were over there.
I've been stopped twice over there.
And you showed them the evidence the one time.
And I showed them the evidence the second time. And the cop was blown away. Like,
yeah, so they want to know.
And so obviously it was spoken about at the police station. So it's getting a buzz around the police station. They all remember it. And it was big news here, guys. Like, he knocked out the whole side of the movie theater. And it was like the expensive movie theater. We have 2 of them. We have one that was like a $2.50 movie, and then the $15 movie. This was the blockbuster place, the place where all the blockbusters go. He's not. It was a big deal, guys. So any law enforcement, fire department, they all remember this. It was a big deal. So they want to know the evidence, and then they close at 3 p.m. The records. The stuff came through at about 3:10. So if anybody wants to say he already knew the guy's name was Steve, no, I didn't. I can prove that by showing the time and the date of when the email came through. It's unbelievable, guys.
You can try to look it up in this area. You won't find it. And to be honest, when you were talking about it, I didn't personally remember that story. Like, you tried to explain it to me. You were pretty surprised that I couldn't remember it. I mean, I knew if you remembered it, that it definitely happened, because you have a really good memory. And well, I've been with you for 27 years. So I just know that if you're saying it happened, it happened. I just personally had no recollection of it being on the news or anything.
I don't think it was made a big news thing. I mean, he was a juvenile. That's probably why it didn't make. I don't remember if it was in the news. I don't get me to lying. I don't want to say that I don't remember.
I just don't
I really don't remember. But I don't remember it being on the news. I think most of the coverage was word of mouth. Can you do me a favor, Tab? Can you click into the? Can you click on the live like if you're going to make a comment? You should be a managing moderator. Can you click on Kate Stays Confused? and Miss Lisa and give them wrenches?
Yeah.
Just click on their name, and then it'll say add as moderator, and then it'll give you a choice, standard or managing, just standard.
Okay.
For some reason, it still won't. I rebooted my phone. It still won't let me into the live. It doesn't even show me as being live on my phone. It's bizarre. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna clip Steve. Because I have him saying his name, I have a clip of him saying, "This is me, Steve." I have a clip of him saying, "Hi, John, this is Steve." I have a clip of him saying his not shortened name. He says Steven as well, too, because he's a Steven. And I have that as well. Not just all Steve. I'm sure and he calls himself Steve O. So I'm sure he goes by Steve. But I do have Steven as well. But I have him coming through over and over again. So I'm going to clip from, and you'll see, because I'm wearing different clothes. You'll see it's different videos, and I'm going to string them together. And then I'm going to show a picture of the old theater. I'm going to show a picture of the police report and the cops' notes, and it'll say what time it happened, what happened, and everything. And to be honest, the shadow figure that was standing outside of our sliding door may have been him. I don't know. She could have been inside. Maybe I saw his reflection. Maybe he was inside and I was seeing a reflection. But reading his height, he was 6'2". 6'2" at age 16. So he was a tall kid. So it was a very tall set of legs, long set of legs I seen. And so could it have been him? Very possible. I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of this whole situation. It does not creep me out. I can feel him over my shoulder. Like when I'm editing, he watches. When I was reading his letter, he was over my shoulder. I can feel it, guys. I can feel it. You can feel the energy, and you can feel the hair stand up. You coming in? Come on in.
You muted for a second.
Yeah. Guys, we're having some reverb. Hey, guys, for the people like Kate stays confused, Shauna, Miss Lisa, we're having problems getting into frickin' give wrenches. We're not excluded. I'm not excluding y'all for any reason. I gave out some wrenches, and I tried to give out some more, and I'm having some freaking technical difficulties here. And I apologize. I don't want y'all to feel a certain way, like I'm excluding you. It's not that. I don't know what the hell's going on, but you will get wrenches with me. Anybody that's been, especially the people that's been showing me all the support, there's been a large handful of people that have really shown support for this content, and we really appreciate it. There's a lot of people that have not, and there's a lot of people that have. And we appreciate it, because anybody that does content, you should support your friends that do content.
And everyone's still welcome. Like,
yes. We know, look, I'm aware, guys, that there's a lot of stuff going on as far as the drama, and there's still people that are saying things and making people feel uncomfortable and keeping it going. Everybody is welcome here. It doesn't matter what goes on in other chats. It will not go on in this chat. And I know that the people in here are respectful. I know that. I've been around these people long enough to know their character. So read my comment above. Okay.
And we really have some cool content like coming, like just even more. I think it's already pretty like extremely cool personally.
Oh, okay.
But we have a
Okay,
lot more coming.
Okay. Yeah. See, we're learning. I'm not a techie guy. I'm teaching her. It's like the blind leading the blind. Actually, what do y'all think? Has my editing got any better with the thumbnails and stuff? That's all me. I don't have nobody make that. I know it's not super creative, but the one for the last video at the cemetery, I added that little weird looking shadow figure, and I add all the text and the bubbles and I do all that myself. I taught myself, and I'm trying to be self-sufficient here.
I've been impressed.
Yeah, I'm to the point now where I'm enjoying it. I'm starting to amaze myself that I'm able to do things that I never thought I was ever going to be able to do that. Did it for draws. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's no problem. I know Kate has left comments. So anybody, Miss Lisa, if you go back and leave a comment after this video, I can. And Kate, I know you've left comments. I'll give y'all wrenches. Not a big deal. Yes, you did, Jen. You did say that. You did say that. A few people said it was going to be my year, and it just there's no more time for drama. You want to know how I know? Because I'm talking to people that have passed, man, and that their time ran out. I'm in the cemetery and I'm reading the dates. There's some people that passed younger than me. There's some people that passed way longer than me. You don't know, but I know one thing: everybody's time runs out. None of us are getting out of this world alive, guys. Okay, I don't care how popular you think you are, how tough you think you are. None of us are going to get out of this world alive, but we are actually, because we don't die. Our energy just changes form, but there's no time for the nonsense, guys. There's so much limited time, and in that limited time, we're supposed to be loving and teaching our kids and grandkids, taking care of our families, making sure that when we're gone, we've taught them enough and provided enough for them that they're going to be okay and know and have the wisdom and the tools to make it after we're gone. That's our whole reason for being, is taking care of our family and our kids.
I kind of want to know. That's something that I would like to know from like Steve, like from like a mother's perspective. I've had a 16-year-old boy with
Depression. With
depression.
breakup.
Sometimes it's hard to say, but he was depressed at the time for very, very minor things.
Breakups. For breakup. It was a
breakup. He didn't like school at the time. Just wasn't close enough for graduation. And he graduated.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
And he's with the same girl. They've been together for a long time. But we went through that phase with him. To the point where
it worried us.
Yeah.
It did. Yep. So I get it. And he was with me the night that we got the major contact with him. I mean, there's no building there anymore, guys. It's an empty parking lot. So, I mean, it wouldn't be nothing for him to hop in the car with us and just ride across the street. We're literally across the street. That's where we live. We're that close. So all this time, I've always wondered about that. I've always wondered about that accident and that kid. I've always thought about him over the last 2 decades, here and there, because when I get on the expressway, the next time I get on the expressway, I'm going to do a quick little clip and I will show you guys from the expressway the view of where that happened. Every time I get on the highway, every day, I pass by and I look at it. And there's telephone poles growing out of the grass in that little area where the building used to be. And I make a joke. I said, look, that's where telephone poles grow. They got a natural telephone pole grove growing right there. It's a joke.
It was a dad joke for sure.
It's a dad joke, but it's the power company put those telephone poles there so they can train their power employees how to climb and service the transformers and whatnot. So they practice on that. So I would make jokes to my daughter as I was driving her to school, because she went to school in the next town, and we would pass every day. I'm like, look, there they are. Look, another telephone pole grew. Look, they got a few more that grew over there. And they always like, all right, Dad. You know, that I like to say it's like tradition. I always bring it up. But I do, and I have for many, many, many years thought about that. And for several years after that happened, you could see like a big archway of different colored bricks on the side of the building where it took place, and as a visual reminder of something took place there. So I mean, there's no building. I mean, guys, you already know that if there was still a movie theater there, he would be inside the movie theater. Like that would be where he would frequent.
Do
So,
you remember the last movie we saw there?
yes, Titanic
Yep, with my mother.
with your mother.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep, 1997. We saw Titanic. Or was it 98? Whenever Titanic came out, it was still in the movie theater. It had just come out, and we saw that in that theater.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think that was the last time I was there, and it might have been definitely probably the last time I went to an actual theater with my mom.
Yep. Sure was. I remember that. I remember that because she thought that Leonardo DiCaprio was cute too.
My mother did.
Yeah, I remember because he was the thing back then. The girls thought he was the girly magnet back then. So
I know.
I remember your mom making a comment. I remember. I'm not going to repeat what she said, but I'll tell you later what she said. But I remember the exact comment that she made. It was funny.
Yeah, you'll have to share that with me.
Yeah,
See, I knew I was going to marry you when I was able to talk my teenage boyfriend into going to watch Leonardo DiCaprio on the big screen.
Yeah, well, I look, guys. Here you go. I'm going to give you all free game. Okay, it's not really game. It's truth. Do the things that your wives and girlfriends like to do. Don't just do everything you want to do. The things that you do to get a woman are the same things you do to keep a woman. So if you stop saying you're beautiful, I'm lucky, I love you, which is I send her that all the time. I send my wife that stuff all the time. That's that not just that. What do you do? What do you do when you try to get a woman? You court that woman. You buy her flowers. You give her nice compliments. You pull the chair out for her. You go watch movies and plays and different things that you wouldn't be caught dead in alone. But because you care about her, you'll do that for her because you care about her. So there you guys have it. Now, you're not going to see anybody else tell you that, but the other people that are in this community haven't been married for the length that I have. Well, at least most of them haven't, at least in the guys community. But that's the secret. There is no secret. The secret is you treat the woman the way you've always treated her. Once you get a woman, you don't just stop treating her lovingly and making love. You have to make love to them verbally and emotionally and mentally too. It's not just physically. So it's a lot of guys fail to realize that. Maybe it's just they weren't taught properly or what. But guys, if you're listening, I'm telling you the truth here. And this was told to me by an older man way back when I was young in my marriage, when my marriage was newer, yet I was still doing those things. But that's, if you want longevity, I mean, that's what you do. I mean, you should always treat every person that you love and care for with love and respect and share yourself with them too. You don't just, it's not just all about you, give some of yourself too, sacrifice for these people. And they sacrifice for you, and that's the thing. I think Steve felt like nobody was sacrificing for him. He didn't have any friends. He felt like his parents didn't give him I'm speaking for him in a way because I read his letter. He felt like his parents really didn't show the affection or show him how to show affection. And he mentions that. he mentions that.
That's what breaks my heart. You did a good job tying that back into the paranormal. I was wondering where you were going with that at first.
It's
But
it all goes back to family and being around the people that we love and who we care about and doing the right thing. And why are we here? What are we doing here? What's the meaning of being here? You know, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? It certainly is not to come on the YouTube and attack and dox and treat people with disrespect and nastiness. It certainly isn't that. Okay, so I'm not going to take part in that. And that's, you know, Jules, I really appreciate her really plugging my channel, you know, and she said some very nice things about me, you know, having the content and how this is going to last, you know, because we're not entertaining the nonsense. And I want everybody to have a comfortable spot here where they know they can come and hang out, speak what's on their mind. They're not going to be disrespected. They're not going to be treated negatively. And if you have a different perspective about some of the investigations, or you notice something I don't notice, or you look at something a different way than I'm looking at, please, I want to hear what you have to say. You know, I'm not going to get mad like, oh, you don't believe me? Oh, well, F you, and I'm blocking you. No, like, what have I always said about all my channels? I've always said this: as long as everybody's respectful, you're all welcome. Everybody's welcome. I want to know. I want the feedback. You know, I want skeptics to come in here and say, nope, that's not possible. Okay, well, have you looked at this, and this first before you said that? Because I denied myself a lot and came to some judgments about some of this paranormal and spirit box stuff before I actually gave it the chance that I've now given it.
I had to give it a chance too. I think it's you know, because it's not necessarily like a normal thing, you know, to do. It's I had to give it a chance too. So I think, you know, there's always going to be skeptics out there. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I am curious to see what like other people their thoughts on it and their personal experiences. I got to get better with like learning how to like pull up the comments and do the chat, because there were a lot of things in the chat tonight too that I think.
Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna get this to be a well-oiled machine, and we really haven't started networking yet. You know,
like I know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, we haven't really networked outside of the two communities yet. You know what?
We've been networking. We've talked to people.
I can't get in there. I was gonna drop the. You have a wrench. Can you drop the link to the Fan Paranormal Facebook page?
Yeah, that I do know how to do. I know like Kate Stays Confused asked way back like what movies were playing when Steve passed. So I think that's something that I'll try to look up and have ready the next time, because I'm curious to see what movies were playing then.
Well, we have the date. We do have the date. So
yeah, so I would like to look it up to see, especially since I was sharing how I really didn't remember.
Well, it was 20 years ago, guys. It was 20 years ago. I'm not going to give the exact date because I don't want people bothering his family. Sadly, there are people on YouTube that will harass and cause problems, even disrespecting somebody's family. That's you know, but I'm protecting his identity. When I show it, I'm going to show proof that it is Steve. It is the person. He is the one. But the specifics that lead you right to him, to his headstone and his family, I'm not going to give. A few people I'll maybe share privately, but it's just to have this lead to a known person. It's just it's overwhelming, guys. It's overwhelming. But we are going to head out. We're gonna the Fan Paranormal Facebook page.
Okay.
Here, let me see if I can find it. I can probably text it to you. I can't get into the live on my phone. I don't know what the heck happened. It doesn't want me sharing links.
I would like to visit his his grave. I know we're not sharing that information, but I would like to go to the cemetery where he's buried because
And he is not buried in the cemetery that we've been frequenting, guys. He's not buried in any cemetery we've been to yet.
No, I'm gonna have to look it up actually.
15 followers. Let's see. How do we share this damn thing? Page. Here we go. Copy link. Page link copy. All right. Let me send this to you, and then you can copy the link and then put it in the chat.
Okay. And then while you're saying goodbye, I think I'm gonna drop because Sierra's calling me, but I'm gonna post the link in the chat first. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for your support.
So, guys, we're gonna go to the Pioneer Cemetery. Not gonna do it live, but I know that some people have requested they want us to do a spirit box session live. Now, you have to keep in mind there's not going to be the words popping up on the screen. It's going to be much harder to catch what they're saying. In fact, you're going to have to probably go back and listen to it a couple of times to catch what they say. But I'm all for doing that, and I can predict already you will hear Steve say his name. I mean, I think you already know that. You all have heard him say his name many times. That is our Facebook fan page, guys, right there. She just dropped in the chat. Please give us a follow. We're going to be trying to hit all platforms: IG, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and really get this channel out there and get the content going. I think we have a lot to share, and I think that people will really enjoy the content. So, guys, thank you very much once again. Smash the like button if you haven't already. And next time I have a couple of guests that will be coming on soon. But Christina will be joining us again, and Lynn will be joining us soon. And you guys, I know you guys were already blown away with Christina. She's awesome. Lynn's awesome too. You guys will love her just as much. And and then I have another one that kind of ties in the true crime mob genre in with the paranormal. That's coming up soon too. So we got big things coming, guys, and lots more evidence. And we're going to tie everything together and show you that, yes, we do receive signs and things do line up, that the dots do connect, guys. So have a blessed evening, everybody. Wish us luck, and we will see y'all the next time.